Good evening, South Africa, and Zimbabwe and Botswana and most of Southern Africa, if you are listening in on this. Welcome to Global Education. We're very happy to present Into here, who's one of our pathway providers, who will be presenting Oregon State University. We've got the lovely Sarah Noosh, who's with us here. She's the International Marketing Manager and Recruitment Manager. So you're going to hear directly from Oregon State here and what is on offer, what's it like to study there, as well as some insider tips into the university itself as well. So please do pay attention, listen in on us. This webinar will be recorded and shared with everybody. So please, if you'd like to share it, do let us know and we'll gladly share the recording links with you. For all those that are on the webinar with us, please put your questions in the chat box and we'll get to that in a little bit. So without further ado, Sarah, the screen's yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the introduction. It's really great to be here today to talk to all of you about Oregon State University. So I know that a lot of you are probably in the stage of just gathering information about universities. And I'm so glad that you joined, because Oregon State University is a great place to consider when you are interested in studying in the United States. There are actually over 4,000 universities in the United States, so it can be a little hard to choose. And so you might be wondering, how do I choose? Why should I choose Oregon State University? So one of the biggest things that I like about Oregon State University is you really get a return on your investment. I know that studying abroad can be expensive. Higher education in general can be a little expensive. And I'll talk about the scholarships later. But what I really want to focus on is that OSU is going to get you prepared to get a great job after graduation. That is really our main focus. And that is your main focus for going and getting this great experience, is to be more attractive to future employers. And because OSU is preparing you with all sorts of hands-on learning and practical knowledge in the classroom, our alumni actually are in the top 15% of best paid graduates in the United States. So not only are they getting jobs, they're getting good jobs that they enjoy and that pay well as well. So in addition to that, we are actually the #1 safest college campus in the United States, and we have been named in the top 1% of global universities. And I'll explain throughout the presentation today, how do we got those rankings, because they really do come from a whole variety of reasons at OSU. So to get you oriented really quick, we are on the west coast of the United States in Corvallis, Oregon. This is where our main campus is. This is our largest campus as well. We do have another campus in Bend, Oregon called OSU Cascades. And this is actually home to a fantastic hospitality management program. The coolest thing about this hospitality management program is you actually have 100% job placement in this program, and you get 3 guaranteed paid internships throughout the program. So if you're interested in hospitality management, OSU is really the place to go. But I'm going to be talking more about our main campus today, our Corvallis campus. And you'll get to know a little bit about what the West Coast is like and the academics. But I also wanted to show you really what it's going to be like when you live here, because of course you're coming here to study, but you also want to love where you live. So Corvallis itself is a university city. So it's very, very focused around the campus, very safe, very community driven. But when you are really wanting that big city life, the shopping, all of that, you can go up to Portland, Oregon, which is the largest metropolitan city nearby. And this is actually where you fly into when you come to OSU. If you fly into Portland, we'll pick you up from the airport, take you to your housing on or off campus here in Corvallis. So you'll get all settled there. And Oregon is just absolutely beautiful as well. These are just a few pictures from around Oregon. There's lakes, there's the ocean just about 45 minutes away, tulip fields, mountains. It's absolutely beautiful. So you're really going to be able to explore outside of your studies as well. We have something called the Adventure Learning Institute that I like to talk about with international students, because the cool thing about it is you don't have to have a car, you don't have to know anyone, or even know how to hike or surf or snowboard or anything like that, but you can experience those things because the Adventure Learning Institute actually puts on trips to the mountains to teach students how to ski or snowboard, or to the ocean to teach them how to surf. Lots of really cool opportunities that I really recommend checking out. But back to the academics. We actually have over 200 degree programs here at OSU. So no matter what you're interested in, we probably have it for you. But we actually have about 45 STEM designated majors. And I want to kind of explain STEM designated in case you haven't heard of that before. We'll just do it a little bit briefly why this matters. So STEM designation, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And typically in the United States, when you study a degree program, you get 1 year of work experience after graduation. And we call that optional practical training, or OPT. However, if you are in a STEM designated major, you can actually get up to 3 years work experience in the US, so 3 years OPT. So this is the reason why a lot of international students like going into those STEM designated majors, because you have more work experience opportunity in the US. But then also, there's a lot more job opportunities as well, because the West Coast is really a hub of technology and innovation. And even if you're not interested in, something like engineering or the life sciences or computer science, there still are some STEM designated majors you might be interested in. For example, we have a business analytics degree that is actually STEM designated. So you could study business and you would be able to actually still get that STEM designation in the business analytics program. And we have a really cool business program. One thing I really like to highlight is our first year experience for business students, because in your first year, you're actually going to get in a group with other business students. So maybe one student's going to be human resources, another is going to be supply chain. You're going to have another one marketing. All together, you kind of form a little pseudo business. And together, you're going to have a business plan that you're going to prepare. You're going to get a prompt from the professor that says, you are going to develop this certain kind of business. Let's say it's a t-shirt business. And you're going to develop a t-shirt that is going to sell, that's going to compete against clothing manufacturers online and also the brick and mortar stores. And so you're going to have to figure out how to differentiate yourself from everybody else. And then also, how are you going to find the suppliers that are going to be reliable and are going to be inexpensive for you to use? And then who are you going to market to? This is something that is going to be really important when you're actually in a business environment for your degree or after your degree program. And it's good to know how to work in a team, how to work with other individuals on a project like this. So it's a great experience that you get up front. You actually will get a stipend to purchase these materials, and you'll be designing and making the actual product. So for this example, t-shirts. You can use our OSU Makerspace on campus that has 3D printers, screen printers, so many different things, CNC machines, and actually create these products. And then you'll sell the products during an exposition in the spring. So you'll actually be able to advertise and sell your products. You'll have a sales goal. If you meet the sales goal, awesome. If you don't, it's not like you failed the class or anything. It's supposed to be a learning experience. So you will just write a paper explaining, what maybe you did wrong. For example, maybe you priced it too high, or maybe you didn't market to the right people. These are all really cool things that I've never heard of a degree program in the United States that's like this for business. This is very unique, and it's a really unique program that's really only available at OSU. So if you're interested in business, this is a really great place to study it. Because again, that's basically like an internship you didn't have to apply for. And it's something that you can put on your resume straight away to make yourself more attractive to those employers. I do want to focus a lot on our engineering and computer science programs at OSU because I get a lot of questions about them. And as you can see on here, we have a lot of high rankings on our degree programs in our engineering and computer science. We actually have the number 63 best overall undergraduate engineering program at OSU in the United States. And you'll notice we have #7 best robotics program, #68 nuclear engineering. I could just keep going on. But the reason why we're getting these rankings is for a few different reasons. It's going to be the quality of the education you get, the reputation of the degree and the university, and then also the kind of knowledge and practical experience that you are getting in your degree program. And I want to talk about that practical experience. So experiential learning is available in any kind of degree program, like, for example, the business first year experience I was just talking about. But this is going to be, for example, this Cassie robot is something that you would run into if you're interested in computer science, robotics, maybe mechanical engineering. The Cassie robot is actually an agile robot that was developed at OSU. And Cassie has many different purposes. For example, it can be used in emergency situations when they need to send someone into a burning building to see if anybody's still in there. They don't have to risk a human life of a firefighter to go in. First, they can send in Cassie, see if anybody's in there, and then they can send in a firefighter only if necessary. Also, Cassie has been adopted into Ford Motor Company facilities, production facilities around the US, which is actually one of the largest automobile manufacturers in the US. You'll really notice that these robots and these other projects and all the research going on at OSU really is solving small problems around the world. Depending on whatever discipline you're in, there is a problem that this is solving. So it's really cool when you are doing research, even at the undergraduate level here at OSU, you're going to be working towards a common goal for the university and, really in the world as well. In the middle here, this is our OSU Trigger reactor. This is actually a test nuclear reactor on campus. So this is really cool if you're interested in nuclear engineering, but it's also really cool if you're interested in anthropology, radiation health physics, anything like that. Our anthropology students actually can bring in an artifact that they found. They want to find out how old it is. They put a sample of that inside the nuclear reactor, and they can find out from the radiation what that artifact is made up of. And with that, they can actually find out how old the artifact is. So it's something that you wouldn't necessarily expect straight away, but there's a lot of really cross-departmental learning that you'll get here at OSU. And then on the right-hand side here, we have a few different things I want to talk about for students who are maybe interested in civil engineering. So up here, this is our driving and bicycle simulators. And what these do, these are for students who maybe are interested in structural or transportation engineering. And for example, if you are going to build a new bridge, like an overpass to a highway, that costs millions and millions of dollars to do. So you want to make sure you're doing it right. And the driving simulators can actually, they can put the simulation in with that proposed bridge. And they can have somebody actually drive through the bridge to make sure that there's no blind spots, that all pedestrians are safe, that all bicyclists are safe, and then also that the cars are also safe and can see well. This is something that's really cool because you can actually test it out before putting it into an actual plan. This is a way that you really can learn and make it feel like it's real before you even start your specific degree program. So we also have the OH Hinsdale Wave Research Laboratory. And this is really cool because this is really useful for students who are interested in helping coastal communities. And as we see a lot now with climate change, we're having a lot of these crazy weather patterns, and there may be more crazy weather in the future. And so what the Wave Research Laboratory does is it can actually simulate ocean waves. It's really hard to take data on the ocean itself because it's just so unpredictable. So what they can do is they can actually simulate different kinds of waves, like everyday waves, and see how they affect erosion on the different coastal communities. Or maybe it's simulating a tsunami wave and see how that affects the structures in the coastal communities and how you can prepare for that. So this is a really important facility that we have at OSU. We actually have the #3 best oceanography program in the world here. So this is a really, really cool place. Even if you don't study oceanography at OSU or civil engineering, I highly recommend going to the Wave Research Laboratory to check it out, because it's a very, very cool place to go. And another way to get involved outside of the classroom is going to be with clubs and organizations. No matter where you study in the United States, even if it's not OSU, this is my biggest recommendation for you, is to get involved. There are so many different clubs and organizations. We have over 400 here at OSU, and they range from academic clubs to social ones. So for example, you could be part of the robotics club. You don't have to be studying robotics. You don't have to be studying mechanical engineering and computer science. You could be studying agriculture. You could be studying business, anything like that. And they still accept students into the robotics club, because there is going to be a unique talent and perspective that you bring that can actually help, build these different robots. So we have the Mars rover team, we have an aerial team, underwater rover, drone racing, lots of different options there. But for students who are interested in like automotive engineering, we have the Society of Automotive Engineers Formula Racing team. And what they do is they actually design and build and race a little kind of car that they build. And what's really cool about this is they actually get the top, 1 to 3 places in the world in the past like 3 or 4 times that they've competed. So they're actually pretty good as well. And this is something that's awesome to build out on your resume, because it's very, very unique. There's also something called the Engineering Speaking Club that I think is really interesting, because a lot of students might be a little bit more focused on the math and physics and engineering side of things, but maybe they're not as good at public speaking. And so what the Engineering Speaking Club is it brings in American students, but also international students from anywhere, and be able to help you learn how to really talk about your ideas. So maybe you are really wanting to improve your speaking skills so you can talk to future employers and recruiters better. That's what the Engineering Speaking Club can do. It can also really help you be able to get your ideas across better when you're in meetings and group settings. So this is a really, really cool club that I recommend getting involved in. We also have OSU Entrepreneurship Club, Virtual Reality Club, many others as well. We have different sports teams that you can be part of. We have intramurals and clubs. So for example, soccer, volleyball, basketball, just to name a few. Whatever your interests are, there's really going to be something for you here. And after university, you're going to want to find a job. And so I wanted to talk about the different job opportunities on the West Coast. Everything that I've talked about today is really building up to that. What kind of internships are you going to get? What type of full-time opportunities are you going to get? So here in Corvallis, we actually have an HP campus. So if you aren't familiar with HP, they make printers and laptops and things like that. And this is a really cool facility because they focus on innovation here. So you really get to explore a lot of different ideas while you're here. And they actually hire mostly OSU graduates. So this is a really great place to work. A lot of our students end up making it up to Portland for their internships and full-time positions. There are many, many companies here. As you can see, there's the corporate headquarters of Nike, Intel, Mercedes-Daimler, just to name a few. There's also a Google office. Up in Seattle, you can see some names you probably recognize. There's the headquarters of Amazon. For those of you that are interested in supply chain, that's like the most amazing company for supply chain. And then also Starbucks, Microsoft as well. I could just keep going. These are just a few companies that hire from Oregon State University, but we actually have students that are working at every one of these companies on the screen. We have students that are actually working in 37 out of 50 states in the US. So even if you don't want to stay on the West Coast, if you want to go to, New York or Florida or something, it's definitely possible to do as long as you're applying for those job opportunities. And I know a lot of people think about San Francisco as some great job opportunities, and there are. San Francisco is great. But San Francisco also is a little expensive to live. So I wanted to mention this as well, because when you are going to university, you are going to be, of course, having your first expense. The largest expense is going to be tuition. But then the second largest expense is going to be your cost of living. So you'll want to look at that when you're also looking at the different scholarships that you're being provided and things like that when you're making your university decision. Just picking on San Francisco, but San Francisco for a one-bedroom apartment costs about $2,500 US per month for a one-bedroom apartment, which is kind of high. Up in Corvallis, it's more like $700 or $800 US per month for a one-bedroom apartment, so much less than half. And a lot of students, honestly, they'll get maybe a two-bedroom apartment and split it with roommates, and it can make it a lot less expensive to live. As an undergraduate student, you do need to live on campus for your first year, but it's a really, really nice environment so you can get to know other students and kind of get to know where you want to live off campus, maybe also all of the different events. You are going to be close to your classes, so even if you wake up late one day, you can still make it in time. But you will be able to meet people and move off campus after your first year if that's something that you really are looking forward to. And as for internships and career support, you are going to have career support from day one. Starting in your first term, you're actually going to be, working on building your resume, building a LinkedIn profile, and all of that to make sure that you are going to be prepped and ready when we have those different job opportunities come up. We actually have 2 career fairs a year that have over 100 employers at each. So you'll be able to talk to a lot of those companies that I mentioned before directly, talk to their recruiters, hand them your resume. And while you might not be looking for jobs in your first term, what I really recommend that you do is still go to those job fairs because it will help you practice on actually talking about yourself and your strengths to the recruiters and employers. We also have a lot of on-campus jobs. So if you are interested in working in one of those, you can work for up to 20 hours a week on campus in a variety of different things from, the campus coffee shop or dining center to tutoring, or maybe if you are interested in computer science, you want to work in the campus IT department called the Community Network. There's a lot of opportunities there for you. And that will also help you, get a little bit of money. They pay about 10 to 12 US per hour, but then also it helps you get some more experience to put on your resume. And also this is the Multiple Engineering Cooperative Program that I want to talk about. This is an internship program that actually has 2 paid internships that are each 6 months long. And this is for students that are in business, engineering, or computer science. And so what you do is in the second year of your degree program, you're going to be able to apply for this. It has just a little bit over 50% acceptance rate. So I really encourage you to apply because you apply once and then you get 2 internships from that. So it's really, really cool. There's they're going to be internships for jobs and companies that are in the local area. So you'll know them well, but then also it won't be like a difficult commute to get to those locations. And this is another cool thing is a lot of times when you're in an intern job, you don't get paid as much as you would, of course, after you graduate from your degree program. But in the MECOP program, you actually will make the salary of a full-time professional. So you get to have a little bit of extra money on the side in addition to some really awesome experience. And we actually have a really helpful career services center as well that can help you at any stage of your job application process. So if you're just, looking to prepare your resume and make it attractive to American companies, they can actually help you with that. They can set up an interview with you when you are actually looking for a job or have a job opportunity set up. They can do a practice interview with you to, help get all the nerves out, and they'll ask you frequently asked questions by employers. So there's a lot of really, really cool support here. Just make sure that you are reaching out to use it. Reach out to the Career Services Center, right when you get on campus and make an appointment. And I did want to mention our entry requirements as well, because you might be thinking, okay, OSU sounds awesome, but can I get in? And right down here at the bottom, this is going to be our entry requirements on the US scale of GPA. So we require a 3.0 GPA for our international direct program, and we require an IELTS of 6.0. However, if you have a little bit lower GPA, so like a 2.5 GPA, you can actually enter in through our pathway program, which we call International Year One. So there are a couple of options for you, and you'll be able to see if you are taking A levels or IB. You can see the curriculum there. And one other thing I wanted to mention, because I know we have students from South Africa and Botswana and Zimbabwe here, I'll also mention what your requirements are. So for South Africa, you're going to need about a 60% out of 100 for our international direct program. For Zimbabwe, you'll need GCE ordinary level of about 4.0 average. And then for Botswana, you'll need a 3.0 out of a 4 on that scale, or you'll need a 3 or lower on the 9-point scale. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what our entry requirements are. And I promise I am going to talk about scholarships. That'll just be in the next slide here. But I'll actually go over to that really quick. So we do have a really, really awesome scholarship, and this looks like this is not quite updated, but I have even better news for you. Is this OSU Regional Award for students from Africa is actually $10,000 per year for all 4 years of your degree program. So for an undergraduate student, the cost per year is about $34,000 US. And if you have this $10,000 scholarship per year, that brings it down to $24,000 US. So much, much more affordable. And again, remember kind of that lower cost of living that I was talking about here at OSU. And with this scholarship, the cool thing about this scholarship is you don't actually have to apply for it. When you apply for your degree program here, when you receive your offer of admission, you'll actually receive this scholarship offer as well. So it's going to be automatic. This is really because we just want to, increase diversity at OSU. We already have about 4,000 international students from over 114 different countries, but we really want to increase that and make sure that we are getting a lot of really great students from around the world. So that's where that $10,000 a year one comes from. We also have other various scholarships as well, including our Continued Success Scholarship. That's really a bonus if you do well in your studies. So if you are doing well in your first year of study and get a 3.5 GPA or higher, you'd actually be eligible for a $3,000 or $5,000 scholarship for the remainder of your degree program. So lots of scholarship opportunities here for you at OSU. And there's going to be also a community for you. I think maybe one of the biggest concerns I hear from students from various countries in Africa is they're worried they're going to be the only student from that country. And you won't here at OSU. We do have over 50 students from Africa enrolled. And that is not just Nigeria and Kenya. We also have students from, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana, many other countries as well. So you're going to have enough to have like a community here, but then you're also going to have so many other people that you're going to get to meet. You're still going to have that classic American university experience, and you're going to be able to feel very, very welcome here. I think that's one thing that's was the most surprising for me when I moved to Corvallis is just how friendly everybody is. When you are on campus, you'll see that people will wave at you, maybe say hello, and you'll be wondering like, how do I know them? Like, have I ever met them before? And nope, you probably haven't. They're just very friendly and want to say hello to you. So what's great about that is if you ever get, lost on campus trying to find your class or something, you can like literally ask anybody and they would be happy to tell you. So it's a really, really nice environment to study in and very, very safe as well. And when you are wanting to get connected, we actually have an African Students Association here on campus that they meet every Friday. And it's a great place to actually get to know other students from Africa and, connect with them. We also have Lonnie B. Harris Black Cultural Center on campus that is great for, they actually support the African Students Association as well as the Black Student Union and many, many others. And this is another great place if you just want to have, you're feeling a little homesick or something and you just want a good study space. They welcome everybody into the Lonnie B. Harris Center, and you can come in there for study space time, work on their computers, anything like that. It's a really, really nice place to study and live. And with that, I will leave it to questions because I want to make sure to give you guys some time for that. I could just keep going about OSU for so long because it is a really great place to study. If you have any questions, of course, you can feel free to reach out to me directly, but also all of the counselors at Global Education are going to be really, really helpful. They know pretty much as I do about OSU, so they'll be very, very supportive. And the last thing I'll leave you with is if you are interested in learning more about the research that is going on at OSU and research that faculty and students are doing, you can check out our Engineering Out Loud podcast. They have an entire season just on artificial intelligence. Most recently, it's been about the pandemic and kind of more of for students who are interested in like public health and things like that might be interested. So definitely recommend checking that out. It's really, really cool. But other than that, I'll pass it back to you, George.
Sarah, thank you very much. That was brilliant. And as always, you've made my job a lot harder in trying to come up with questions here for you. Really great to see those rankings as well. And it's a great question that we get a lot of students asking from specifically South Africa is, how does OSU rank? And, you broke it down per engineering courses and the different industries. And I thought that was fantastic to see. Is one reason for that, is that because a lot of funding that gets put into the research centers at OSU? Could you go a little bit more into that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's definitely part of where our rankings come from because that recognition piece that I talked about. And really, we get about $450 million US per year in research funding. And that is going to be for a variety of different programs. And a lot of it does go into our College of Engineering and Computer Science because it is such a large department and it is very, very widely known. And it does help. It's kind of one of those chicken and the egg things. Like we have the rankings, right? And so that's why they continually come back to us. But then we also, have that great funding from and how we get those rankings. And so one thing that I really want to highlight too, though, about the research funding, this is kind of taking a little bit of a tangent, so sorry about that. But with the research funding as well is, it helps us with those rankings, but also it brings in some really awesome faculty. So we actually will have faculty that might not be able to do their research at other universities. They're, world-renowned faculty, but they see that they can get funding if they come here to OSU. So they will come here to OSU, and while they're doing their research here, they actually will also be teaching our students. So you're going to get to be taught by really the best and the brightest, which is really, really awesome. And you get to learn about the research they're doing as well.
Yeah, and I think, from coming from Southern Africa to places like Oregon State, where you're going to be a lot of people from different areas and culture, you're going to be exposed to so much. And that's the one thing that I benefit from studying in the US was, your ability to learn to network with people. And is that is that something that helps international students that come to OSU? With the student support that you mentioned, are there a lot of networking opportunities outside of the clubs? If you are a bit more into that support structure.
Definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of networking opportunities. So even for your first year, I think what you should really do is just try to attend any events that you can that look interesting to you. Into actually puts on a lot of different social events that are really low commitment. It doesn't mean like you have to join a club or something like that. You can just join these social events. For example, they just recently did one where they hiked to a covered bridge that's near to us. They've also done like a pumpkin carving thing. It's very, very US focused, but pumpkin carving for Halloween and lots of fun stuff like that. You can just join, even like a couple days in advance, say, yes, I want to go to this. And you'll be put on the list to go. And it's really cool because you get to meet students that way. And one thing that I really want to make sure that people know is when you are going to university, you are not the only one that wants to connect with other students or other people. Like everybody wants to do that. So reach out. Don't feel weird about reaching out. It might be uncomfortable the first couple times you do it, but it'll definitely be worth it when you really are going to get those, positive responses back. And so it's going to be pretty easy to make friends. And then outside of like your peers as well, professors are very, very approachable here. And so when you have a question, go to their office hours. Every professor has office hours. Your advisors are also there to help you. But it's great because you can actually ask those questions you need to ask during class, or if you feel a little bit insecure about asking them during class, you can always do so, later on in their office hours.
Sarah, I've got one student that I'm talking to that's very computer science oriented, but she wants to build her own business. And my approach and my advice to her was to look at the American universities. They're very broad in their first year of studies. What would be your recommendation to the student that was looking at those two, polar oppositing degrees types?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a few different options. Like you said, yes, the American education system has a very, we call it Common Core for the first year. And what that is you get a really well-rounded education your first year. You get to sample a lot of different things and see what's the best fit for you. But if you are interested in two different degrees, like computer science and business, there's the option to actually minor in one. So you choose one as your primary degree. So for example, she could choose the computer science as her primary and get a minor in business. So it means you don't take as many classes as you would for the computer science degree, but you're getting that business knowledge where she'd be able to actually start her own business later on. And it doesn't increase the time that you actually have to take at university. So you can still graduate in 4 years. Most important thing is to talk to your advisors about it when you're here. Talk to them about your interests because they'll be able to know what degrees and minors might be the right combination for you. And with the minors as well, or changing your majors, it's super flexible in the US. So even if you think like starting out, yes, I want to have a computer science degree with a business minor, maybe later on you're like, actually, I like the business classes better. I want to do a business major. Totally do that. And it's very easy to switch within your first year or two.
In terms of the OTP, it's one of the most important things, I think, when you choose to study in the US is getting that work experience. How would it work for an international student? Like, what's the process like? Would they get in touch with the student advisor and then get the application process? How does that work in the back end?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's going to be a few different processes that are going on at the same time. And so what you'll always want to be doing is look for job opportunities. Don't look for jobs at the very last second. Like if you are going to be, ending your degree program in a month, like don't wait until that time. Try to do it like a term or even 2 or 3 terms before and look for those different job opportunities. So one thing that you're going to want to do, look for the jobs, see what's available. We have actually a dedicated job site called Handshake. That's really cool because it's only for OSU students and alumni. So you actually have to log into it. And a lot of the employers will actually post their jobs on Handshake first before posting them to external job boards like LinkedIn and Indeed. So you're getting kind of a first look at those. So it's really, really nice. There's a nice filtering feature too, to make sure that you're getting the jobs that you need to stay within your OPT requirement. And so that's going to be really helpful as well. We also have OPT advisors specifically in our Office of International Services that will be able to walk you through all the paperwork. So really what you do is you focus on finding that job, and they're going to help you with all the paperwork, because honestly, it can be confusing to anybody, as is anything when you have to fill out, different paperwork. So they'll help you with that. But the cool thing about our OPT advisors is they're not just going to help you until you get into your OPT position. They're actually going to help you throughout your entire OPT experience. So whether it's that 1 year or that 3 years, you'll actually be able to reach out to the OPT advisors at any time if you have an immigration question about your OPT, and they'll be able to help you with that.
And Sarah, what's one place you highly recommend for students to check out when they arrive at OSU? Don't say the pub. What's one place that you should recommend a student to go and see? And try not to mention the pub. I've got parents listening in on me on this one.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there's so many different places to go. Well, what I would really recommend is more of like a full-on experience. So one, there's this coffee shop called Coffee Culture downtown, and it's just a quick walk from campus, which is really nice because when you are walking around there, there's so many murals downtown. So you can actually walk around to all these different murals. I haven't walked around to all of them, but what I usually do is I grab a coffee from Coffee Culture and I walk down to the river, because the river, the Willamette River, is right beside downtown. It's a really beautiful walkway area. So if you just, want a little bit of time to relax after school or something, you can go down there, take a little walk before, you start studying for the evening or something, and, grab a coffee for some fuel. But there's so much to do. That would be one thing that I would recommend, but I have a very long list. So if you end up deciding to come to OSU, let me know, and I'm going to give you a full list of recommendations of things to do.
Brilliant. And to every student listening in on this, if you do apply to OSU, take up Sarah on that. The best advice I can give you is meet the local people there, and you'll be going to make lifelong friends for the rest of your life. And these people are going to help you with business as well. So keep that in mind as well, that networking is really important. Sarah, I'm going to leave you to close this webinar. Any last points or any last tips you'd like to leave everybody with?
I think that you actually just, hit the nail on the head. Make sure that you're actually connecting with other students while you're here. It can be very, very comfortable to stick around students that you are familiar with from your own country. But the best experience you're going to get is when you are reaching out to students from other cultures and American students as well. So, but I know it's a really big decision. So I really recommend that you reach out to the counselors at Global Education, reach out to me directly if you have any questions as well. And we can help find what degree program is the best fit for you if you aren't sure at the moment. And we can help even get that application started for you. So thank you again for the opportunity. It was lovely to talk to everybody, and hope to see some of you on the OSU campus soon.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sarah, very much. And everybody have a safe evening, and we'll see you on the next webinar.